4 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon baking powder, 1 tablespoon of salt, 2/3 cup of Mazola corn oil, and 1 cup and 1/4 of lukewarm water. Salt. Whisk it up just to get that stuff to mix in. Add the water. Cooler is better than warmer. The hotter the water, it sets up faster, and then they tend to have a little bit of a dried out effect. And there's the oil. Mix it together by hand. These are handmade flours. They are not, don't use no blender. Knead it by hand for 3 to 4 minutes. If you look, you can't tell, but it almost looks like it has little dander flakes in it, a little bit. But what you're gonna do is we're gonna let it rest for minimum ½ hour. What's gonna happen is the water will absorb into the rest of the flour, and it will be smooth, pliable. So anyways, what I do is I take some cling wrap and I wrap it over. I'll put it in a different bowl that doesn't have any flour left. Wrap it and let it sit and rest. I'll probably let it rest for at least 45 minutes just because I have the time. You can also probably put a wet towel over it, what do you call it? Baking towel over it. All right, get your placa, put it on the flame. You want them about medium heat. Try to get them to match. That back one is a little high, so I'm just turning it down just a little. There we go. I'm doing some cooking, so there we go. We're gonna let this warm up. I'll roll them out here. I usually have more room, but today's a little weird. I still haven't mastered the art of like making the balls I feel, but what I've done is I'll take and measure and weigh them. I like to have them around 1.5 ounces. It's close enough because that makes them like fajita size, like so. It's like that. And then I just roll them into a ball. Now I'm doing this with one hand, so it's a little odd, but you basically put them together in your hand. You roll them, whatever, and you flatten them a bit. You push in with your finger or thumb, and you just set them out. Now they don't have to be perfectly round, but when you do roll them, you want to make them as round as possible, because then when you roll them, they come out a little more round. And we'll get to that shortly. I'm not going to do a bunch because I'm just making enough for dinner, but I usually would just go through all of them. The recipe I did will make about 23 to 24 tortillas, if they're at about 1.4 to 1.6 ounces. That's it. Show you how to roll them out next. All right, put a little bit of flour down, and you do both sides, like so. Get a rolling pin. Make sure it's flat all the way across. This works a little better than the double-handled one. Some rolling pins kind of dip down at the end. You don't want that because when you roll them up, it'll goof them up. So just put them in there. Your placa is hot. And then You want them kind of round. Push it down with your hand. Then you go in the center, and you come back, center, forward. Turn a quarter, center, back, center, forward. You don't have to push super hard because it will start working itself. Like I said, you want to kind of have them rounder. Otherwise, sometimes you get this. And I'm in a space crunch, so kind of a little too long. Anyways. See how it warmed up? It's kind of stretching. And I probably could have put a little more water in here, but they'll be fine. So you can see how thin it is there. I kind of toss it in my hands to get as much of the flour off. I just put it down. I go on to the next one. And you want to start to bubble a little, then you flip it over. So again, you go center, back, center, forward, center, back, center, forward, center, back, forward. You see it starting to bubble here. I don't know if you can see it there. So you just kind of flip it. And I use, like I said, I use Mazola corn oil because when you use lard, it tends to leave them flat. Most people put too much lard, and they're just a little different. They're not as fluffy. So that's good. Then you put them in a container with towels, wrap them, and the towel will keep them soft and fluffy. Something you see. There you go. That's it. All right. It's your final result. But you just leave them covered. Maybe about, after a while you'll flip them, maybe remix them up, so because all the hot is going to be on the bottom. That's it. The towel will actually keep them, keep the moisture in and keep them fluffy. That's what I got for you.